In this tutorial, we're going to start our estimating, and I'm going to show you several of the components that you will be using within the software. To start off, okay, if you come down here to the bottom left hand corner, if you are going to create anything, for example, any kind of takeoff, this is where you begin with this new condition. Okay, it is this icon with the blue mark. Simply left click it. Okay, and you will have a conditions property box that looks like this. I'm just going to drag it up here. Okay, so if you look in this style, just think about some of the components that you'll be doing. Okay, it falls into one of these categories. It's a linear component, it's an area, a count. Okay, basically these are going to be the three that you'll use. Okay, so in this case, since we're just going to be counting things, for example, doors, windows, an item, we're going to go ahead and select count. Okay, we're going to give it a name and make sure you always include a name. So in this case, we're going to count doors. In the type, okay, left click in this little magnifying glass. Okay, and what we're going to look for is a condition type called type indoors, and you see it there. So when you think about these types, think about your construction, different construction divisions. If you remember, you had an example or an assignment that you had to go out to Sweets Construction and understand and get a chance to do all or look up some materials. So this is where this comes into place. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and select doors. So we know our type. Don't worry about the layer. Condition, let's leave it. Dimension, width, all this we're not going to use. Okay, for other conditions, for example, linear count, area, we will use this, but because there is no dimension, we don't need it. Okay, and you can come in here as far as the color, select various different colors. So for example, every door that I select is going to probably put a little red mark by it. Okay, results count, we're just going to leave each. Okay, leave everything as it is. Hit OK. Okay, now you can see your cursor change to a crosshair. To count, we simply go to the door. So for example, room 155, here's one door. We're going to say count that door, and it places a red box there. We'll go ahead and 153, place another one. All this is telling us that we have counted each one of these doors. So thinking about how many doors do you have for this particular floor or this project. Okay, so this is a set of double doors. We would probably not want that. Okay, here's a single door, another single door. Let's go back, 159. Okay, but this is how you would go about doing any kind of count. Okay, whether it be counting windows, counting blackboards, the projector screen. Just remember, when you use count, you're simply taking an inventory of how many things. Okay, so you can look here in our conditions tab. You notice we have door and we have counted 10. Okay, so we have 10 doors counted. Okay, so let's go and create a new condition. Back down here, new condition. Okay, now we're going to do a linear component. So what we're going to do is figure out how many linear feet worth of wall we have. We're going to title this interior wall. Okay, and we're going to say, we're going to pretend that these are 8 foot. Okay, so interior wall 8 feet. Okay, so think about the name. The name is important. It is going to identify, and if you've ever done any kind of work with CAD, it keeps you or it helps you to remember what it is that you're dealing with. Okay, so if we come back over here, so in this case we're going to type in, let's just say framing. Okay, so if there's nothing on framing, let's look at stud. Anything for stud? Okay, let's just do walls. We're just going to use wall as our, select that as our type. Okay, now in this instance, since we are doing some interior wall, let's pretend that we are going to calculate how many linear feet that may be worth of drywall that we'll need. Okay, well, let's say for example paint. We want to figure out how many square feet of wall do we have, so that we can think about how much material we need for paint. Okay, so we're gonna make sure that this is 8, so type in 8. Notice if you type in just the number 8, it is in 8 inches. So to type in 8 feet, 800, okay, and that becomes 8 feet. As far as the thickness, this is just how thick your line is going to draw. So if you want to go to 10, okay, basically just the width of the line. Once you draw, I will try to use a different color. Okay, so instead of the red that we have here for the door, maybe we'll go with the orange or a green. Okay, so let's look at the results. Quantity, we know we want it in linear feet, but if you click within the length, you notice there are options. Surface area, single side, both sides, top or bottom. Thinking about what these means and how you would use it. So if we are doing drywall, interior wall, we will have both sides. So we want the surface calculation. So we're going to select surface area, both sides. So we'll use that as our result. Square feet is what we want. Hit OK. And now let's start tracing our walls. So let's pick, I'm going to zoom in just a little. Okay, so we're going to do the outline of room 155, 151, and 150. So to start, left click. Okay, let's go back. Okay, make sure that you do have the takeoff, which is this crosshair, and just kind of trace over. Okay, left click to start, left click to let go, or you can just kind of keep going. So left click there, left click, and as you can see, we have a calculation that right now we have 959 square feet worth of drywall. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and finish this room. Okay, and let's go ahead and do another. We'll just do 152. So I'm going to left click, drag my mouse down, let go, left click at the end point to where I want to go, let go, left click again, let go, left click, let go. So we have 3 rooms calculated or selected. Basically we have just created a outline of the room, and you can see the math has been done for us here. So we have an interior wall, so we're assuming that all these are 8-foot wall, and we have a total of 1813 square feet, or 1,813 square feet. So that is one way when you're thinking about if you had drywall on both ends. Now, easy way to create this new condition, instead of going down here to the new condition, you can just right click this and say copy, and then place it right back, say paste, and now you have both. Okay, so you can kind of see the one that you have created or copied does not have any calculations. So we double click it, and we're going to change this, keep everything as it is, 8 feet, but on the quantity results we're going to make it just single side. So think about a condition where you may use this, for example, exterior walls, because with exterior walls you're just going to have drywall on the interior side. So let's go back and let's change the name. Okay, exterior wall, 8 feet. Okay, and let's go ahead and give it a different color, orange. Okay, just double check height. Okay, let's just say that it is still 8 feet. Now we can go ahead and hit OK, and let's zoom out. And for the sake of this tutorial, we're going to say these are our exterior walls. We know these are really not walls. Okay, there's a combination of wall and windows, but we're just going to use it for pretend that they are. Okay, so assuming we want to figure out how much drywall surface we have. Okay, so let's go back and pan a little to the left. So we're just going to use room 153 and 154. So okay, once I'm in there, click on the takeoff. Okay, select where you want to start. So let's just say here, left click, drag it to where you want to end, let go. Okay, So you can look here now at the conditions, and we have an exterior wall, and the orange wall that we have created has 430 square feet. Two different wall conditions. Remember, the green is our interior. We have drywall on both sides, and the orange we only have on one side. So let's see what else we can create within the linear component. So linear, if we look at linear, we can go to volume. So think about what that may be. Let's go ahead and pick something different instead of linear. Let's go to area. So let's say if we wanted to calculate floor tile. So we're going to select area. Let's look at our type. We'll come down here and scroll to see if there's anything about tile, vinyl tile. We'll just call it maybe floor. So we do have floor, so let's go ahead and select floor. Select, and in the name we're going to call it VCT for vinyl composition tile. Thickness, we're not going to worry since it's area. We don't have thickness. If you kind of think about what the thickness of this is, and let's go back and look at square feet, there is no thickness. If we were doing volume, we would, but if we're just doing area, square feet, then we just need length times height. So it doesn't really matter. We can just keep this and hit apply. Hit OK. And we're in our takeoff or select mode. So I'm just going to left click one corner of the room, drag it to the opposite corner of the room, and let go. So that represents, that purple represents the amount of floor space, in square feet that we'll have. So you can kind of look down here, VCT, we have 754. Go back over here in this opposite room, room 154, left click, bottom left hand corner, drag it to the upper right hand corner, let go, and now we have a total of 1,507 square feet worth of VCT. So think about, when would you use this condition? Carpet, thinking about again square feet for ceiling. So you can think about ceiling using this condition as well, square foot. Alright, so what we have done is to review. We've looked at the count, which is our door. We looked at the linear component, which is our walls, and we looked at an area. So again, going back to the conditions, here's the various different conditions. It can be a linear, area, or a count. So those are the three that we have concluded in this tutorial. Before we close this tutorial, I want you to go ahead and come over here, and right next to the image, you have several tabs here. Bid. If you go to the bid, this is where you just created the sheet. Image. This is where you are doing your image takeoff with a floor plan as soon as it gets back loading. So depending on your computer, could be lagging. The takeoff, so takeoff just kind of gives you some information, and then the worksheet. So within the worksheet, this is where you would input money, labor, subcontractor amount. So for example, we have counted 10 doors. Let's assume that maybe one door, all the materials to complete the task will probably take $400. Labor, we're probably going to say it's going to cost us maybe $100 each. So you can kind of see over here in the total, we have a total of $5,000 just for the 10. VCT, let's assume that material, it's probably 80 cents per square feet. Labor, we're going to say maybe $1.25. And so you can kind of see for 1,500 square feet, we're looking at $3,089. You can kind of see here's your total for the estimate so far, $8,089. But just remember, these are just some numbers that we have just pulled out from the air we want to make sure that we are specific and accurate. So when we think about doors, we will need to probably call Lowe's or call a supplier and then input that information in there. And then as far as labor, well, how much are you charging your folks to install doors? And then how many hours would it take them to install one door? Okay, so that's how you will figure out all these costs. Okay, so I'm going to go back into the image, and that should take us back to where we started, and we'll conclude this tutorial.